welcomes you to the Andaman Islands. Experience the magic of the islands by land and sea, starting with Bella Bay, a luxury cruise offering breathtaking sunsets, live music, and unforgettable private events. Sail serene waters while indulging in fine dining and premium drinks beyond the waves. In Port Blair, TSG Emerald View, one of the Andaman's most trusted names, offers cozy rooms, a vibrant ambience at the Bridge Bar, and the beloved Ruchi restaurant, praised by locals and travelers alike. On Havelock Island, TSG Blue sets the perfect island vibe with charming cottages, a beautiful pool, and a short walk to Radhanagar Beach. The Blue Cafe is the ultimate spot to unwind. On Neil Island, TSG Aura offers sunrise views from balcony rooms, direct beach access to Sitapur Beach, and farm-to-table dining at Moonlight Restaurant. Back in Port Blair, TSG Grand blends elegance and comfort with cozy rooms, Mehak multi-cuisine restaurant, and handcrafted cocktails at the Trench Bar. Port Blair's dining scene is redefined by Mavi Rooftop Lounge, the city's newest hotspot with live music, coastal charm, and fusion cuisine. Beyond hospitality, TSG Charitable Foundation empowers the Andamans, advancing health, education, and livelihoods. Discover hospitality like never before with TSG Group, where every stay, on land or at sea, becomes a cherished memory.
So very good afternoon to all of you, and I'm sitting amidst this kind of very coveted experts from across the globe, talking about something which is part of our history. And it's not only maritime history, it's a kind of history which we have lived for centuries kind of thing. And I am not going to talk about some kind of very expert area related to this issue. I am going to talk about how we have the shared civilization and what kind of legacy we cherish. And when I talk about here we talk about the whole globe. It's not only our country, India, but it's also all other countries who were connected in the past also, and even today in different ways kind of thing. So when we talk about maritime heritage, shared civilization legacy, the topic for today's this afternoon session, the first and foremost thing which comes to our mind is related to almost what was recorded in the oral text in ancient times related to ocean, related to maritime and all those things. Most of historians of ancient world would be very, very knowledgeable about those things. That earlier in those era, this was very, very part of our discourses that, okay, maritime is very, very integral to our, in fact, earth. And how civilizations have prospered, how civilizations have interacted with each other. This has been part of our history. If I recall from our Indian ancient past, from that particular era, we had the connect with our neighborhood in terms of Southeast Asia or Central Asia or Europe from that particular point of view. And people have recorded of those era, they recorded about those connects. And so I start with, I have some very beautiful pictures from Andaman Nicobar Islands related to this particular presentation. I hope sometimes it just get uploaded. So Rigveda fourth mandal says that all the universe rests within your nature, in the ocean, in the heart, in all life. So it has been part of our being on the earth itself. And that was the kind of acknowledgement which was there. I serve in Andaman Nicobar Islands, and it's very interesting to look at the mythology which was also prevalent, known in fact in 19th century, and it was recorded this Anthropological Journal of Britain and Ireland in 1877. They recorded very interestingly about Andaman Nicobar Island, and they said that the people in general from India, they remember these islands from a very, very important mythological story. And what they say that when Bhagwan Ram, God Ram, when he decided to build a bridge to reach to Ravana to bring back his wife, then he started building the bridge. And in the midway, then Vibhishan, the brother of Ravan, he said that no, this is not where Ravan is residing currently. He is residing in somewhere else, which is Lanka, and so you abandon this and we start from Rameshwaram. So this whole exercise which was there, it was abandoned. And the mythology says that those abandoned pillars, those abandoned areas are now form Andaman Nicobar Island. This is part of the mythology which was recorded in 1877. I am quoting from that particular thing. And so Andaman Nicobar Island, thou far almost from the so-called coastline, mainland coastline, almost 1200 kilometers away, but this has been there. Now, when we look at the attempt during early 20th century, there was a journal which was started by Mr. Kalidas Nag and his colleague. And this was a Greater India Journal, Journal of Greater India. And 1934, the first publication of that particular journal came. And the foreword of that particular journal was written by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore. And he records there in the foreword, to know my country in truth, one has to travel to that age when she realized her soul and thus transcended her physical boundaries, when she revealed her being in a radiant magnanimity which illuminated the eastern horizon, making her recognized as their own by those in alien shores who were awakened into a great surprise of life. So this was recorded by Gurudev Rabindranath Tagore in that particular journal, the first journal. It survived till mid-1950s, that journal. And the foreword was recorded by him. So we also have habitation on these islands for very long period from the history. And we have 6 particularly vulnerable tribe groups. And these tribes have kept their folk tales, the culture, which is reflected through those folk tales. This is very well documented nowadays also. And where they talk about how nature culture connect was there in those societies in these islands. When we come to that particular era, then we always remember the spice route, because the whole connect was basically premised on this spice trade kind of thing. And it was there before Christ era also, in fact, and it has been recorded by a lot of historians, particularly like Pliny. He recorded that what kind of trade connect was there. And what kind of things were getting exported, imported from India to other locations in the world. And spices was particularly very, very important part of this whole thing. So in the first century, the Roman, this historian Pliny, described the allure and value of paper. We know that the paper, the black gold of those era. Why do we like it so much? He questions that. Some food attract by sweetness, some by their appearance, but neither the pod nor the berry of the paper has anything to be said for it. We only want it for its bite. And we will go to India to get it. That is the record, he says, and it has been reported in a book, Sea and Prosperity, Civilizations and the Maritime History of the World recently. So this was a kind of trade connect with the Southeast Asia, with Central Asia, with Europe and all those. It was a shared prosperity. And then one historian records that the trade was driven by the human desire for the exotic manufactured goods, precious stones, metal ores, unusual animals and spices. In particular, the spices cinnamon, ginger, and pepper came to generate the lion's share of profit to the merchants willing to tackle the treacherous sea journeys. The movement of these spices came to be known as the spice route and eventually spanned 15,000 kilometers from the west coast of Japan through the islands of Indonesia around India to the Middle East and across the Mediterranean to Europe. So this kind of trade environment was built around using maritime route particularly, and this was the shared experience of various countries, various area. All of us know very famous expedition of Cholas, which happened in 11th century AD, and when he goes to Southeast Asia, and he mentioned the inscription in Tanjore mentions about a place called Nakkavaram, which we now know as the Nicobar kind of thing. And it has also been subsequently captured by Marco Polo, earlier by Itzing and Huensang, and all those people have also captured this. So all these things was going on particularly fine till say 15th, 16th century. Then the era of disruption came. Why I'm using the term disruption? Because it was not simple trade. It came with brute power, brute colonial mindset, that how you can control this trade completely. It was not shared vision kind of thing. And you'd be surprised to know that the Nicobar Islands were declared as New Denmark by the first Danish people when they came with the Danish East India Company. I hope it is there. Something is now working. Okay. But I think I can't see, so I can't refer it. Okay. No issue. You can move forward actually, because this is already I have covered. You go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, go ahead. Yeah. Yes, just hold on. So this is the kind of colonial control which started from late 15th century, 16th century particularly, and 17th century, which saw its kind of presence. And it's a very interesting era for the world because spices, because they wanted to control that particular element. And I was very surprised to also learn about this nutmeg story, which later on most of you would have read through Nutmeg's Curse, the book written by Amitav Ghosh. And this nutmeg was very, it was considered that it has a power to cure black plague. And so this was the desire that how do you control this deadly disease? which wiped out a kind of generations of people in Europe and those era. And then the search started, and they finally landed up. And then naturally, by that time, the maritime power was such that they could subjugate this area. And then the control happened. And when I look at Andaman Nicobar Island particularly, then from Danish to Portuguese to Dutch, and finally the British period came. But Andaman Nicobar Island also became infamous for one particular thing which is called Kala Pani. It's a kind of penal colony. It was considered that this is going to be a very interesting area to send somebody Kala Pani and all those things. So it became a kind of location also for grit, determination and courage of our freedom fighters who served their terms in those islands in those periods, kind of thing. Interestingly, Andaman Nicobar Island was also used for extraction of resources. And from that particular history part, Chatham sawmill, which is at one time it was one of the biggest sawmill of the Asia in 19th century, and people claim that even the furniture made from that particular location is at present in the Buckingham Palace, kind of thing. So that kind of extraction of resources also happened. And all this happened with the power, with the brute force. Please move to the slide. Next. So when they were bringing these people to for Kala Pani, serving Kala Pani, they were coming in the long ship journey, because it's a kind of 3-day journey today. It means you have to spend at least, if you are traveling by ship, then it will take you close to 60 hours to reach Sri Vijayapuram, Andaman Nicobar Island. So imagine in those days when technology was not that great, this was the kind of thing which was happening. Next, please. And interestingly, an interesting part of history is that in 1943, when the World War was happening, then Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose landed there, and first flag hoisting of the country, Azad Hind, was done there, kind of thing. So this is also a slice of history for all of us in those islands, actually. So how do we, this kind of background where we are looking at the trade which brought shared prosperity, then you have the colonial past which is very, very sinful and very brutal. So how do we look at our present and future in today's time? So we are looking at various aspects to capture those era and to also you can say that leverage today. So from the administration side, we have, interestingly, we have started one particular scheme which is called a Spice Pravah. And these islands are having 3,400 millimeter average annual rainfall. It has at least 180 days of rain every year. So the equatorial geography, and that allows us to have this kind of spice production there. So we have launched this massive exercise of spice production in these islands. And we are hoping that in next 2 to 3 years, when these are getting matured, because imagine a particular clove, it has a life of 100 years. And the mortality rate in these spices are hardly 10 to 15% kind of thing. Similarly, cinnamon, nutmeg, and these can survive for those many years. And currently, we heavily dependent on import of these spices from outside. We consume these spices because these are part of our daily food habit, but we have to import it. So that kind of opportunity we are looking at. In the process, we also want to relive the spice era which was there. Now, we are looking at also the heritage tourism part. Cellular Jail was declared on the tentative UNESCO World Heritage List in 2011. And we are looking at a kind of heritage circuit there, which will allow us to have better tourism facility also, and also as a part of remembrance that how our history has shaped us. Similarly, when we look at our natural beauty in those locations, India's only active volcano, which is a barren island volcano, survives there, and currently it is active. So recently on 24th of October, we took a cruise of tourists and 125 children to that particular location in the night to look at how the lava is coming out of this active volcano, to give a kind of life experience to people and particularly our children. And this we are going to do fortnightly. So every fortnight we are going to do this activity in those islands to have that kind of. We have more than 30 endemic birds in those areas. So plenty of nature. We are pitching it like a global scuba diving destination for the world. So this is a kind of maritime resources which is available there, which can be exploited and which can be showcased to the world also. Next. Interestingly, the tribe, one particular tribe is a Nicobari, and they have this hodi. This is a kind of hodi which is canoe, and so one log canoe. If you happen to visit to Rashtriya Manav Sangrahalaya in Bhopal, this is almost kind of 50 feet of length canoe is lying there, that is coming from that location. That kind of skill set those people are having. Administration has also gone in one particular area which is called the GI tagging. And we have already done 7 products of these islands which are having a GI tagging. In the previous slide, those were there. So it also has the virgin coconut oil, which is very, very different kind of composition. We have a kind of curry, black rice. Then we have hodi, and we have mat, Nicobari mat. All these are very indigenous product there, locally there, and which can easily be showcased anywhere we want to have in our museum kind of location. So what we are looking at when we talk about National Maritime Heritage Museum in the country or anywhere else in the world, what we want to present there, which is going to remind us and the future generation about how we have reached here and what kind of suggestion we are there. So tradition, craft, cuisine, trade, tourism, and of course sites. We have a number of archaeologists on this particular panel. They are going to talk about those archaeological evidences and all those things. So all this is part of our maritime heritage. And Andaman Nicobar Islands are very, very integral to this maritime heritage history of the country and the world. And whenever we have traveled in the past to the Southeast Asia region, or we look at our colonial past, we always remember Swarna Deepa, this is kind of thing which we have remembered and all those things. It has gone through those islands and all those things. It has still those memories, and it is part of the traditions and the culture which is reflected there. And this Lothal, which we are having, the National Maritime Heritage Museum coming up, Andaman Nicobar Islands very actively participating in that particular, I think we are coming up in the phase 2 for that particular area. And there we will have the possibility to showcase the kind of thing which I have just demonstrated before you, that how we have prospered in the past when we have shared, when our trade where on the equal footing, when we exchange with each other on equal footing, and that has created the legacy. In between there was disruption. That also we need to remember, because that is very important for the future, to know that what can go wrong and what can cause disruption for the all. And with this, I just end my comments related to this particular thing, and I leave it for the moderator and the panelists to come forward with their views. If you permit me, then I can sit there and then I can watch, because I was not part of the panel. So I have just given the opening points related to this issue, and to give you an overview and where the Andaman Nicobar Island is situated or positioned in this whole discourse. Thank you very much.